At this point, Star Citizen, to all intents and purposes, has infinite funding. With $85 million generated in 2021 alone, the avalanche of money just won't stop. And yes, 2021 was the biggest year so far for Star Citizen in terms of the amount of money raised. Now, I'm fairly certain that many people out there would consider this to be a very bizarre situation. After all, Star Citizen has not even reached a beta state yet. It's still in alpha, some argue pre-alpha. Yeah, it's got a long way to go before final release, and no release date in sight. On screen, you can see the demo footage from the recent CitizenCon. This is located in the Pyro system. When eventually released, it will be the second star system available in Star Citizen, the Persistent Universe. As I've mentioned before, this area, these planets look absolutely stunning, beautifully rendered. Some rather amazing looking tech going on here. I'm very keen to eventually try these out and see how they play. But when can we expect to see these? That really is the big question, perhaps the biggest question of the moment. In fact, to give you some idea of how long people have been wondering this, here is a Reddit thread of people asking exactly that question. As you can see, it is dated the 6th of July 2020. In this video then, I want to briefly discuss the whole nature of the funding of Star Citizen project. The fact that the funding itself seems to show no sign of halting or slowing. In order to tackle that particular subject, we really need to address the separate topic of progress. And what better topic to focus on than the next star system of Pyro. Now, as many Star Citizen fans will tell you, the game is a very complicated piece of software. Not only on the client side, but also on the server side. It requires hefty network code and apparently is doing things that no game has ever attempted before. That is something you'll hear Star Citizen fans tell you very regularly. Then add to this the fact that pretty much everything is crafted to an exceptional quality. Just look at the footage here, for example. So yes, seeing a new star system like Pyro, along with all the relevant gameplay and network code, is certainly going to take a long time to develop. The question is just how long it remains. After all, it's been many years so far. How much longer is it going to be? If we jump back to the 9th of October 2020, we get some indication on an answer for this. This was posted to Spectrum, the official Star Citizen forums, by Tony Z. And they say our current plan is to release both Pyro and the server mesh tech at the same time. Now, as far as I'm aware, this plan hasn't changed, and we should expect to see both of these released together. In case you're wondering, what is server meshing? Well, it's the ability for CIG to dynamically scale up server resources as and when required, and it will effectively allow much larger numbers of players to interact right across the game. Effectively, at the moment, the full vision of Star Citizen physically isn't possible without the server meshing technology, and Pyro does apparently require the technology before it can be implemented. Now that's of course a very quick and brief overview of what server meshing is all about. There's a whole bunch of content out there on server meshing if you want a deep dive. It's a very good one from SaltEMike, as well as a few videos from CIG too. So those will give you all the details you need to know about server meshing. Check out the links in the video description. For the purposes of this video though, server meshing is going to be implemented in phases. The first initial phase is what's required for the release of Pyro. When is that going to be? Well, according to the current progress tracker, we can expect to see server meshing around the end of 2022, December in fact. The problem is though that this date just keeps slipping. Very recently it was scheduled for the end of September 2022. Before that, the progress tracker was showing August, and before that it was showing around about the middle of July. So the middle of 2022 tallies up quite nicely with what the progress tracker is showing for Pyro system, or the work on the Pyro system right here. You can see August 2022. However, as we know, both the server meshing and Pyro need to be released together. In short, based on what we've heard from CIG previously about this particular subject, it's very unlikely we can expect to see the first iteration of server meshing and Pyro before 2022 is out, and they may well slide into 2023. This then seems to be par for the course on both Star Citizen and Squadron 42 in recent years. In fact, pretty much it's been the same old story ever since 2012. And that brings me very neatly back to the subject of this video. Why does the funding just keep continuing? Why does all that money continue to roll in? We could put it down to fanatics, we could put it down to whales. But I think ultimately that does a disservice to what is truly going on here. And what that is, in my opinion at least, and this is just my opinion, is that CIG have crafted a masterful business model. In many respects, for a lot of players out there, a lot of backers, it really doesn't matter if or when Star Citizen ultimately arrives. What matters is that CIG continue slow, steady steps towards the dream of the ultimate space game. Combine that with events such as the Jumptown events, as well as a free fly weekend where players and backers, potential backers, get access free to any of the ships in the game. Well, I think you're probably on to a winner in terms of business model. And that's without even touching on the subject of what you see here, promotional footage of features that may one day arrive at some indeterminate point in the future, not to mention concept art and regular discussions of promised features. Whether we personally agree with any of that, whether we think it's the right approach or not, is kind of irrelevant in many respects. Yes, it's perhaps morally wrong, it's perhaps ethically wrong, or maybe it's just good business practice, but either regards, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. $85 million in 2021, well over $70 million in 2020. This is significant money, and it shows that for CIG, financially at least, that something is certainly working. But all that said, in recent times it seems as though a few chinks in the armour are starting to appear. Yes, there's always been controversies surrounding Star Citizen, and arguably the controversies actually help the game rather than hinder it, because well, there's perhaps no such thing as bad news. After all, when there's a controversy surrounding Star Citizen, it gets a load of press, and that in turn just gives a wider coverage to it. That said, the chinks in the armour. Well, recently, as I mentioned in a previous video, CIG made some rather crazy changes to their roadmap, and these were received rather badly by the community in general. You can have a look at the link in the video description where you can see my previous video on that particular subject. Beyond that, it seems that CIG themselves are having some difficulty with developing both Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Of course, they've never mentioned anything directly themselves, but it's kind of evidenced by the fact that patches are constantly chipped away at. They announce features for particular updates, and these just get smaller and smaller as that particular patch approaches. Beyond that, where is Squadron 42? No news yet on when or if that will eventually arrive. But surely at this point, some of the big investors for CIG, and there are some big investors, multi-million pound ones in fact, maybe perhaps some of them are starting to get a little bit jittery at the lack of information on when Squadron 42 is going to arrive. Again though, just speculation. Finally, in terms of speculation, this one not my own, but posted to the Discord leagues, the Discord Star Citizen leagues. Now, the Discord league server, that has been fairly popular over the years. It's been accurate in some occasions, and it's been pure nonsense on other occasions, but nonetheless, it's an entertaining read. And yes, I'm fully aware that some people won't like me posting this particular information, but you know what? This is all about Star Citizen, the Star Citizen community, and CIG overall. And as far as I'm concerned, it means that anything about the game, anything within the community that's going on, is worth mentioning. So, this particular league suggests that CIG are having trouble managing and retaining staff. In fact, allegedly, CIG are losing developers far faster than they can hire them. Additionally, again allegedly, much of the focus on development is on Squadron 42. The leak goes on to suggest that in terms of the persistent universe Star Citizen itself, it has the least amount of developers working on it at any time in the game's history. Now, whether any of this is true, we'll likely never know, and what the ongoing development and the timelines for Star Citizen ultimately mean, well, we're just going to have to wait and see, aren't we? So it seems to be a case that not everything is rosy for Star Citizen, CIG and Squadron 42. With all that said, it seems it's always been the case, and CIG manages to carry on regardless, and without any seeming consequence and negative impact whatsoever. Maybe this is the testament to the quality of the product they're releasing, or maybe it's a testament to the business model they have. The question then for me is whether or not the funding is going to continue at its current pace. And ultimately, there seems no real reason why that won't continue. Whether that's a sign of insanity or genuine genius, well, the debate for that is just going to continue to rage on. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.